Hi everyone, my name is Katya. How are you? Welcome back to my channel. I'm here today recording during the daytime. It's already February. Welcome February. Basically our winter is not as harsh this year and we are, I don't know how to show you that. Yeah, it's either me or the buildings, but well. There's no snow in Moscow. There's no snow. It's like 1 degree, it's like around 0 more or less. Some days it's snowing just a little bit, but then it gets all clean. But winters without snow is all both good and bad. Maybe it's a good idea today to share with you one piece of literature that I listened to last week. It was a recommendation of a famous Russian blogger who has visited all the countries in the world, and he's a traveler and he's a designer. Basically doesn't matter, just like he also is an expert in the words language, so he always expresses himself in a very simple way, so people love listening to him even if he's talking about like very complicated topics. He's always expressing himself like really well in simple words, and this is a great skill. As for me, just there was a small recommendation, and it was like about a little phrase in an audiobook, in a book by Radishev, which was written like 100 years back, and it's called Trip from St. Petersburg to Moscow, which obviously used to be a little bit different compared to today, but we understand that as well. It's something special for me because I just moved to St. Petersburg to Moscow. I know the way. Nowadays it's like 4 years train trip. So I was curious about the phrase that he was mentioning, that there was a comparison, that a weird taste in food, like something that pregnant women tend to have those weird taste preferences. And there was a comparison with something. I even don't remember the phrase because the audiobook had, I believe, like 30 chapters. So there was a list of chapters which were like little villages that the main character was visiting through the way from St. Petersburg to Moscow. And basically, in every village there was a person he was talking to, so there's a story behind, and there are various concepts, so every conversation covers a different topic. And to me, most interesting, it's more interesting to listen to things like the language people, so more like the human part, when they talk more about maybe history, maybe how the cities should be organized, maybe some politics, maybe some, this is not something of my interest. So I was like cleaning the apartment, for example, and listening to like, okay, here it's not as interesting, but there were chapters I got really impressed, and it's my dream, which I'm already kind of implementing in my real life, because I'm a Russian teacher, but I'm not a teacher. I don't believe in the concept of individual lessons, in all those traditional concepts, because I want some lights in my face. Because I believe that as a polyglot, I believe in maybe a bit different manners to learn a language, and with the years, I wish I knew all that when I was learning English, which was my first language ever. And I was having a really hard time, to be honest. I don't like those times, mostly because you feel like impotent, right? So you don't know, like all the sounds are different, and the way they teach you, maybe it's not the best, or maybe you just don't know how to deal with that. So I used to do some language consulting, like language planning, so that you should follow some plan and blah blah blah, but in the end it's a very hard job, and actually the plan itself doesn't always help, right? So nowadays I believe that you should have just it would sound so boring, but consistency, meaning that it doesn't matter the way you go, right? So you will have stops, you will have pauses, but the decision of making a language enter your life has to be determined, right? So you have to really decide for yourself that from now I'm interested in that culture, I'm interested in that language, in the way of thinking, in the way they talk, which sounds cool for me, like the English sounds cool, right? So when I speak English, for me it's also a self-expression thing. It's just like another life, whatever they call it, right? It's totally true because the language reflects people, right? So words equals people. So we invented that. Different types of people invented different types of communication with these or that ways of expression, ways to put things. And there are some similarities. There are very different ways of putting things, right? So words order, the pronunciation, the way that you, for example, in English, German, Spanish, not that much, but you pronounce things very well. So, like, you do sound, right? And it so much reflects your personality that the things that you are saying are important to you, first of all, and that you want to be heard. And then there are some other cultures which are more, like, it depends on the person and on everything, depends on the context. But somehow, Russian overall sounds, for example, way more calm, way less expressed. And so for me, nowadays it's very important to speak, like, you know, to speak up, to speak louder, to actually give more sense to those words, because we have a lot of, culturally, we do have low self-esteem on average, okay? Meaning that we have this perfectionism, which is good, but then on the other hand, it makes me, speaking Russian, I do have way more complexes, as I always say. I always doubt my words, like, am I saying the correct thing? Am I thinking the right way? Mostly because of the society or the social pressure, because I know that every word will be doubted. They would say, no, this is not. I mean, haters and people who criticize you are all over the world, all over the place. But to me, comparing to Spanish speakers, oh my God. Maybe they just don't say all the things that they think, but I believe that it's more the critics thing, right? So it's called, yeah, I believe I talked about that already. Yeah, it's all connected, right? The way you speak, and that you don't actually value your words. So you say something and you yourself in the moment already are, it's called devaluating, right? When you like lower the value of your words. So you do that with yourself, right? I just said that for some reason. Maybe it's not perfect, maybe it's not the smartest thing, but okay, for some reason I thought that. Fuck that, right? So why not letting us like be a bit more not perfect? It's all about that. And then people who come to the comments to criticize you are mostly, well, I'm not saying like, of course we are all humans. I also sometimes watch some content and think, oh, I don't like it, or like I don't agree. But mostly the more I permit myself, yeah, right, so yeah, it's okay, and this is okay. This person maybe is passing through something that I have no idea about. So why would I? Because actually those words hurt. I am a vlogger, I do have a large audience, and I know how much it hurts when it gets to you at the moment when you are vulnerable. So at the moment when you are actually living through that problem, for some reason you're sharing it. And then there's somebody so smart over there, maybe he's right, maybe he's actually got the point. And after some months, it happened to me that I was like, yeah, actually he was right. Maybe I was not seeing this, but it doesn't matter. I believe we have to value our words more in our day-to-day life, which gives more meaning to what we say, equals to what we think, equals to what we do, equals to how we live. I think how we live depends totally on the meaning of the words that we are thinking and saying, because saying is the next level of bringing energy to life. There are 3 levels. First one is thinking. Because thinking is a process of accumulating energy and, like, let's say, converting it into some already solid concepts, which are imaginable equals real, right? So it's somehow real already. This is what I believe. And then bringing it to the word, it makes it, well, I don't know how many times, but it makes it stronger energetically. You bring it to life even more. So next step is doing. But we always underestimate those two levels, right? And I hate when I started working on my consciousness, awareness, right? I just can't stand talking to people who are not filtering what they say. And it's pretty much, well, not everyone, but the majority. It's the hardest thing to learn, because you have to like make pauses in your speech and like questioning yourself actually in that point, yeah, being not perfect and seeing that, wow, why am I saying this? Why am I even thinking this? Because also I did a course 2 years ago. I went to it's called neuro linguistic programming, right? So when you put up like reprogramming your thinking, which is also like, it does make sense, but the course itself was not as good. But the thing that I noticed during that course is that, for example, I do something happens, and I put a direct negative explanation to that, right? So negative context to the thing that didn't happen. It might have been a different thing, different reason of another person doing so, right? And so the first thought I have, which is like so quick, it gets so quick to the brain, so you have to catch that. You have to catch that fast thing, which is your thought. You catch that and you're like, what are you doing here? I don't need you here, right? Why am I thinking, no, I want to choose thinking another thing, or maybe give it a try, give it a chance that maybe it's not 100% what I thought, and it's not 100% negative. So yeah, there was this little part, like wrapping up this little talk, because I have my session with a psychologist. There was this part when they were talking about values and how to treat children, and there was so much wisdom. I swear, so much wisdom. If you're interested, please give me a comment below. I will share what things they were said there. I was really impressed. I was like, where is that? Why wasn't I how do you call that, brought up that way? Why not everyone around me had that wisdom? Oh my god, like 100 years back they were so smart, or like such good values were there, and now what happened? Like, why no one taught me that, or no one is living like that, basically. Yeah, so bringing more energy to our words, thinking what we think and what we say, bringing to life. So this makes us creators and controllers of our own lives. My Instagram is Katya to you. Thank you for following. Bye.